story, saying, here you go.
I was born November the 25th, 1928 in Isola, Mississippi. I am a southern girl and love it. Love my life. I love it. I really enjoyed it very much. My mama was awesome, awesome, awesome. She was a very, I told her she was a real lady. She was just a lady. And I know you don't remember my father. My father was, I guess you'd call it handicapped, but I guess you could say that. But he had a hump on his back. He had a short leg, but he was awesome. I loved him so much. He was awesome. He used to cook, make homemade biscuits. I didn't eat them though, because I don't eat. I eat mine with mine, but I didn't eat right. And so he would make, in the South, you see, when you didn't have money like people work, because you didn't have jobs like that. We lived on a plantation. Take that plant, sit up under that. Don't bother me. Okay. And not because of the picture, nothing like that, but it's kind of bother me.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that
And
camera.
so we just didn't have money to buy food and stuff like that. Our food was, when you kill the hogs, that was your meat.
Right.
And your corn, when you have like the corn meal, you had what you call a grist mill. And out in town, where you grind up the corn and you make cornmeal from it, which is fresh, very good. Now that's very good. But flour, you had to buy your flour. And as I said, because we lived on a plantation, the boss man give daddy and them a certain amount of money, for to get like your flour and lard. But when you kill the hog, then you make your lard from the hog fat.
Right.
Yeah, you get the fat out of the hog fat, and you make cracklings, it's like the skin and stuff like that. I'm gonna buy me some of them tomorrow. No, Monday. I like chicken, but I don't cook them like I used to. And but I like the skin because crackers, hog crackers. And cracklings, I think is the right word for it. But I love that. I really love that. But so we didn't have that opportunity of having money. And we would work the fields, and sometimes they may give you a little money on Christmas Eve. If they're going to give you anything, you got it at Christmas Eve. And but you go for it anyway to see that you get it, because you couldn't keep a record. You had no freedom. You really was a slave. You had to do what you was told to do, and it wasn't where you could go to school, because we didn't have a school. We had the church, and we would have school whenever they had the opportunity to go to school. We would go to the church, where the building where we go to church at. And so I didn't have the opportunity because it was cold, and cold, and you had to walk. So I couldn't do it. So I didn't have the opportunity to go to school. And but the Lord educated me so, and that's how I got smart. I'm so smart because He did it. and I really like it. I really love it because He did it. But we didn't have that opportunity, like I said, to go to school. And we didn't have books. If you did go, you didn't have books because you didn't have money to buy the books. So one time I went, and by I guess 42, maybe 43 or something like that. We went out to Isola, Mississippi. That's a little bitty town out there where where I was born. I was born out, but the town was the name of the place where you identified with. I was born in a place called Isola, Mississippi. And so I didn't, like I say, by not going to school, which is not having the opportunity to go to school, and I was very happy because I learned a lot, But I told you the pre-primer, when I was going to read the pre-primer, and I could read, man, I never had a book before. And I was so fast, I thought I don't know what I thought I was, but just the idea that I was smart and could read and didn't even know really anything about reading, So that I did that. But
so God shows you how to read, you said?
He just taught me how to read. Y'all got some pretty children. If he talk, he's kind of making me talk. But anyway, like I say, I didn't like to work in the field because I was afraid of caterpillars. God has delivered me from that because I think he took them off the earth. I don't even see it anymore. But
Caterpillar.
oh yes, I hate them with a passion. I hate them because I'm so afraid of them. And my grandmother was afraid of them. But I wasn't afraid because she was afraid. I was just scared because they scared me. And so I couldn't really work good in the field because if I saw one, it was over. I wasn't going to do nothing until we found it and destroyed it. And like, I'm looking right at it, nobody could see it but me. Nobody could see it but me. But I'm not going to do anything until you're going to find it or else I'm not going to work, you know. So, because I couldn't, now chopping cotton was pretty good. Because, you know, you chopping it, that ain't bad. But that picking cotton, man, that was the thing. And the rolls was about, good Lord, far from here almost to Ultra. Because they were long rolls. They were really long. And it may not have been that long, but to me they was. And y'all talking, I'm trying to just find out what y'all talking about.
Oh, let's see here. No, don't worry about the camera. Don't worry about the camera.
No, I'm not. I ain't
That camera is just nothing.
But I'm just watching everybody do what they
I'm just
doing.
listening to
I
you.
didn't want to be in them.
Oh, no.
You're not.
Yeah. No, shoot. So, but anyway, like I say, it was, well, I said about school, I didn't get the opportunity, but like you read now the big words and all that stuff like that. So, you know, I didn't have to worry about it because God just did it for me. And when my children, you want to know how I met Papa?
Right.
I told you how I met Papa. Okay, I met Papa at school. Have you been down to Grandma Anderson's house ever?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, okay. You know where Grandma Anderson was buried at?
Right,
The church?
just down the road in the white church?
Yeah, that's the church where I met Papa at that school.
Oh, not at church, but at school.
At school. He was at school. Auntie Tometta, Annie Mae, Frankie, different, you know, of the family, the Baker family. That's where they went to school at.
Oh.
So I was going to school there. And he was in the armed services. And he came, and I just in love with him, crazy in love with him the first time I saw him. And because I thought it was the uniform, but I found out later, right, it really was not the uniform. I don't know, there's something about him. And he was dating another girl that I knew, but he never dated her again, you know. And I didn't have to do that because I didn't, you know.
Why did you like him?
I don't know. I still don't know. He was just something about him I really liked him. And I don't, you know, he was a nice person though. Because when we first got married, man, we one thing, you know, like because Baker wanted everybody to see me, like the family in Chicago, so they introduced me to the Baker family. So I had the opportunity to meet Mr. Frank Baker, their mother. She was about 3/4 white. She was at that time she lost her eyesight. And but I got a chance to see her and Mr. Bynum's brother, Mr. Eddie, that was Mr. Bynum's brother. He had a barber shop, and the lady worked in the barber shop with him. And I'm trying to think who all I know over there. And so and then we used to have a grocery account, Midwest on Broadway, and we always would
like the Little House on the Prairie? Like the Little House on the Prairie?
Yeah, we had this book, and you go to the grocery store and you charge it, and then when payday comes, you pay it. And we did things together, but I don't know how we got apart. I don't know how it happened. For some reason we did. But he never stopped loving me, and I never stopped loving him. Oh, but he didn't know that you can't have a lot of women and these husbands, you know. And because he was going out with so many women, he's taking the money with him. See, I could deal with it if you go out there and leave the money at home. He was taking the money at home. I'm taking the money with him, and that made life difficult for us, you know. But he was that kind of person. He just didn't know any better. Down south, a lot of men do that. Sometimes the wife would be having a baby and the girlfriend having a baby at the same time. I didn't experience that. He didn't bring no children home. But one time a lady called me, and I was so happy that lady called me, because I was trying to get rid of Baker. And I thought maybe he found somebody, you know, that he'd go and live with them. I admit that. And so she called me up and said, she said, I asked me if he was at home, and I said, no, he's not. And she said something about taking him from, I said, lady, If you can take him, you can have him. You said it, didn't you? You said it. I said, honey, I said it and I mean it. I didn't hear from that lady anymore. Not ever. I don't know who she was, but I was very serious if she wanted him. So when he came and I told him, I said, a lady called and told me she's going to take you from me. And I told that lady if she wants you, she can have it. He told me, you can't give me to nobody. But he was right, but he probably didn't mean it like I took it, you know. But like I said, it was just that kind. But I'm not a traveling person. I'm more of a homemaker, real homemaker. And that would make him mad. And then I was a real mama love your children. And I love my children. That's one thing about it. And I took care of the babies, I took care of the house. And that would upset him because he wasn't getting the attention that he's as much as he wanted. And he felt like I was giving it to the babies, and that was really making him really mad with me. So.
And that's when y'all were living at the other house.
2035. And how I got out here, because I said no more. I quit. And so when I had somebody that could help me get out here.
Right.
On Section 8.
So now that you know about marriage and what it entails and that their priorities, now that I know you found out what it's like, but when you look back, do you see what you could have done differently?
Yeah.
As far as when you said you love your kids, you probably put them ahead of him.
Right.
So now you would tell young people that was out of order.
That's out of order. I've learned that the children, the next, is coming the wife, husband, the wife.
So what are you saying you would do differently then?
What I would have done, he needed a lot of attention. He was the oldest child that Mr. and Mrs. Frank, but see, Mr. Frank wasn't his father. And he knew, and he found it out. He didn't know it at first. I think he was about 10, I think he said, when he found out. And it was so, it upset him, you know. He didn't even know, but he knew, he never would have owned up to recognize his daddy like that was, you know, because he didn't ever live with his daddy. He was born, Miss Anna was pregnant before she got married, and she married Mr. Frank. It was for the baby knew Mr. Frank was his father. And Miss Anna didn't tell him any better, and Mr. Frank didn't. But somebody that knew about it, a neighbor or somebody, told him, and you know, he didn't like it. But he was kind of spoiled because they had their own land, and he could have the car, and he could go and be free, and he had that freedom. It made a difference. He wasn't like my brothers. We didn't have no car, we didn't no wagon or nothing like that. You know, the boss man had the wagon, and you could work with the wagon, but you couldn't take it.
Now your brothers were.
No, okay, my JB Roosevelt. That's my mom's son. She had when she married my father. My brother's name was Jimmy. There was Jimmy, then there was me, then there was Junior, then there was what we call Mac. Mac, well, he was MC. That's what my middle name was, MC, because you could do that in the South. But after he got here and went to school, the teacher told me he could be Mac. He had to have a name to go with him. She used to call him Mac. He liked him, so he stopped to call him Mac.
So, okay. So we never met your brothers, you said?
No, you all never met his. Most of them were either not around or,